Sadako 3D is the 3Dth movie in the Sadako franchise, which of course means that it's the 5th movie in the Japanese Ring franchise, despite not being named Ring 3, as the 5th movie in the Ring franchise would be called, as we would all know. Horror sequels with 3D attached to them are always good. I mean, Friday the 13th, Part 3D, My Bloody Valentine 3D, Piranha 3D. I mean, that's why Sadako 3D is actually the best fucking Ring sequel. Next best after Zero. This movie is a dumpster fire. There is so much wrong with it. It is an absolute train wreck. The atmosphere of Ring has been completely obliterated, the mystery of Kanzenban destroyed, and the tragedy of Zero tarnished. But I don't give a shit, cause Sadako 3D is so much fun. The worst Ring sequels have been boring, uninspired, and insane, but this is bad in a whole new way for Ring. A bad that I might even be so bold to call a so bad it's good. Sadako 3D revolves around Akane, a Japanese school teacher who also has the power to destroy ghosts with her voice, but only when she is about to be killed. It's a very convenient power. The students in Akane's class have been watching the cursed video, which is no longer a videotape but a live stream that kills anyone that watches it 10 days later, maybe. They're not really clear on this, because this element of the film is brought up and then dropped very quickly. It seems more like whoever watches the video just becomes a target of Sadako. And in this, Sadako makes her victims commit suicide. And it's important to note that this is not Sadako's cursed tape. In fact, this movie is pretty separated from the events of Ring, and it doesn't seem like it's connected to Rasen, despite what some sources might claim. Instead, the cursed video is created by an internet artist killing himself on livestream to revive Sadako. Best yet, his motivation for reviving Sadako into the world is that he was flamed online. That is the movie's choice of words, not mine. Now Sadako is searching through her victims for a new vessel. The only one suitable just happens to be Akane on account of her psychic powers that only activate when the plot wants them to. But really, I'm getting too far into the plot because what makes Sadako 3D great is that it's a Halloween episode of a tokusatsu series blown up onto the big screen and forced into 3D. Plenty of scenes that look cheesy. Sadako uses her hair as a weapon and the CGI just looks so bad. Even Sadako crawling out of a screen, an effect that was done well in the 90s. Looks like it was done on a shoestring budget here. These effects would make Suicide Club say, don't you want to make that look at least a little bit more convincing? And then you get scenes that make no sense, like when Akane's boyfriend is stolen away by Sadako, because they keep doing these fake outs where he's almost pulled into a screen, and he keeps passing by different screens until the screen that he's pulled into is on the back of a fucking truck, as if these things are just a common, everyday occurrence. The TV truck's coming down the street, better watch the fuck out. Throughout the whole plot, there's this disgruntled police officer who adamantly refuses to believe Akane about anything. That is until his partner is killed by Sadako. But when his partner dies, he's wearing a Sadako wig. Like, there's no other word for it. That's just what it looks like. But holy shit, the best part is the ending. This has got to be one of the best, worst endings to a Ring movie. It just stops being a Ring movie and becomes a low-budget episode of Garo. Akane is being chased around by imperfect Sadako clones. And when I say clones, I mean girls intentionally killed in the same way so that one of them could become the next Sadako. And the monster designs are great for anything that isn't Ring. And the movie goes full toku when Akane grabs a fucking iron bar and just starts slashing them with it. I could not help it. I loved every minute of this ending. There's so much cheese and camp here that it had to be intentional. Not good. Let's not make that mistake and throw around that word. But at the very least, completely intentional. And in a way, I can appreciate it more than Rings. That movie felt like it was doing what it thought a Ring movie was about, and just doing it horribly and pretentiously. Sadako 3D is deliberately spitting in the face of Ring, and then rolling around in the schlock that it shat out for itself afterwards. And I can't hate it for that. Sadako 3D is not a good movie, but you might want to give it a shot if you're in the mood for something really shitty. Alright, I'm going to try my best to remember the events of Sadako 3D 2. I watched both of these movies very long ago, and I can still remember very specific scenes and moments from Sadako 3D. I am struggling very much. I'm very much struggling to remember Sadako 3D 2, and that should really tell you everything that you need to know already. The main character of this one is Fuko, which is the sister of Akane Akane's boyfriend. Akane has died since giving birth to a child, and we have a 5-year gap between Sadako 3D and Sadako 3D 2, which, just by the way, what a stupid name. Sadako 3D 2? What the fuck? Is 3D just part of the title? Is that it? Like, I don't know, you can't, I guess there's nothing technically wrong with it, but it just sounds so dumb. Anyways, Akane's daughter is, surprise, surprise, showing signs of being a creepy ring child, and there's reason to suspect that she's going to be another Sadako, just like how her mother was supposed to be a vessel for Sadako. I actually got somewhat attached to Akane's character in Sadako 3D. She wasn't anything spectacular, but seeing her rip and tear imperfect Sadako clones was entertaining, and I was kind of happy to see that she made it out of that film alive. So when this film opens up and she's already dead and not in the film at all, the movie already lost me before it could even begin. And that's mainly the problem with Sadako 3D 2, is that not once does it have the audience. Not once is it giving us something that we really care about. There's still some nice cheesy scenes, but it's kind of doing the same thing that Sadako 3D did. And while it was new, refreshing, and horribly cheesy in Sadako 3D, in Sadako 3D 2, we've already seen that trick. There's not much more that I want to say about this movie. And I have a feeling that Sadako 3D 2 played it safe because it was just rushed into production. The movie was announced basically the week after Sadako 3D was released, and I'm not sure they actually expected Sadako 3D to be a hit. I'm not even sure if Sadako 3D was a hit. But in either case, Sadako 3D 2 was made, and it was clearly made with less time, less effort, and less money. And that's about all that I want to, or even can talk about Sadako 3D 2. Everything that I had feared that Sadako 3D would have been actually came about in Sadako 3D 2. And now I've grown tired of saying the name Sadako 3D 2 over and over again. So where does that leave us? With a kinda short video. So because in comparison to the other videos we are running a little short, I think it's time to wrap things up with a little recap, something that I like to call the first and only ever Japanophile Ring Awards ceremony. Very quickly, let's run down every single Ring movie that there's ever been and tell you which is the worst, which is the best, going from worst to best in every category. First up, worst to best, Cursed Tape, Sadako 3D. It looks terrible. Just look at it. Do I even need to say more? Does this even count? This was never actually on a VHS tape. Rings. The definition of trying too hard. It's even more insulting that Ring's cursed tape is spliced between The Ring's cursed tape, only serving to remind us of a much better movie. The Ring Virus. It has some neat visuals and is definitely the highlight of the Ring Virus. But, much like all of Virus, it's done better elsewhere. Kanzenban. The low budget and poor quality help make this effective, but it also is incorporated into the plot more than any other cursed tape. The aspect of the tape serving as a set of clues, and I kind of wish that more entries in the franchise picked up on it. Kanzenban's tape also has that nice little added bonus of being taped over a different television program. Ring, probably the best and one of the most memorable scenes in Ring, and with good reason. Ring's curse knows exactly how to get under your skin. The Ring. Take all the elements of Ring's video, now make it look better. It does lose a little bit by looking cleaner, but it gains a lot just with the striking visuals. Second category, worst to best child. Aiden, The Ring 2. This is the worst part about The Ring 2. Fucking kid. Nagi, Sadako 3D 2. I don't even think I mentioned this brat by name because she's basically just a plot device. Fucking kid. The Korean kid, The Ring Virus. I forgot this kid existed, so we're putting her directly in the middle of our list. Yoichi, Ring. Not bad necessarily, but really just there more for Asakawa's character. Aiden, The Ring. Pretty much the same thing as Yoichi in Ring, except he has a bit more personality and interacts with Naomi better. He's also better than Aiden in The Ring 2 because he has less screen time and isn't an annoying little shit. Yoichi, Ring 2. Weirdly enough, making Yoichi into a blank slate has made him more interesting. Seeing Asakawa worry about him and what he is becoming is actually concerning, and it might be the only time that I gave a shit about a kid in these movies. Because, if you notice a trend here, every single one of these children is used solely as a plot device. Worst to best Sadako. Rings. This Sadako can't even do an American accent. Sadako 3D 2. These are fucking kids. Rasen. What every Sadako shouldn't be. Otaku fat bait. The Ring 2 CGI Ghost. This looks like shit. This is one of the worst looking Sadakos, mainly because it is a pile of water floating in midair. Sadako 3D. I'm also going to count the imperfect Sadako clones here, and I fucking love them. They're great. These things look These things are so fun to watch just scamper around. They're in the middle of the list because, objectively, these are fucking shit. And I guess that the actual Sadako in this movie is fine too, whatever. She doesn't look or act like a Sadako. Kanzenban. Extra points because this Sadako does have a set of balls. The Ring. A legitimately good reinterpretation that actually takes its own original aspects and blends them seamlessly with the borrowed iconography of Ring. Ring. The standard that every Sadako and every Japanese ghost is held to. The intrigue around her gives Sadako her own character, making her present even when she's actually not directly interacting with the main characters. Ring 0. This is what every Sadako should be. Perfect wife bait. And finally, our final category. Worst to best Ring movie. Rings.
Fuck you!
Ring Virus.
Just awful job.
Sadako 3D 2. Rasen. I would like to see a direct sequel to Rasen, just to see how it planned to recover after that train wreck of an ending. The Ring 2.
I'm not your fucking mother.
Sadako 3D. Amazingly schlocky. Ring 2. Nearly good, not quite there. Ring Kanzenban. A surprisingly good mystery movie, and it is without a doubt that if Kanzenban did not exist, or was poorly received, we would have not had this franchise. The Ring. Everything that should be in a remake, and everything that should be in foreign remakes. Ring 0. Now this is probably the only one that's actually an upset, but I'm gonna put Ring 0 this high because it genuinely made me feel for Sadako without cheapening her character, or making her less intimidating in other movies. It's not a perfect movie by any means, but the investment that it puts into Sadako earns it this spot. And finally, Ring. It can't be beaten. If I've said one thing throughout all of these movies and videos, it's that Ring will always stand as the best Ring movie. And yes, in a way that means that from the heights of the Ring, we just continuously went down and down and down, further away in quality, and that's just it. That's exactly what we did. But what kept us coming back to Ring? Was it the series' unique spin on urban legends, modernizing the traditional Japanese ghost story? Was it the weird sciencey stuff that was completely out of place in some entries? Was it characters like Asakawa, Ryuji, or Mai that actually managed to get us invested in the story? Or was it just presenting a fantastic atmosphere? Or maybe it was all of these things. And this is a good spot to close off our October look at Ring. It's done. This is it. It's over. I basically spent all month editing videos, and I had all these movies watched by September. I've spent this entire month editing and recording audio and splicing together clips. And you know what? I guess it was worth it. So I'm done, right? This October I watched every single Ring movie. And last October I watched every single Grudge movie. So there's nothing left to cover, is there? Is there?